Hello friends and welcome to another episode of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today I have to just do some crazy wild speculation as to what we are going to be seeing as far as the Bounty Hunter rework. Now specifically I want to talk about what I want to see with some of these characters. Now there are three characters that I'm going to be heavily focusing on. My focus is going to be on Boba Fett, Greedo, and IG-88, with a little bit of Dengar kind of splashed in the mix there. Now, these are just abilities that I feel like they need to have, and I've reached out to my community, and a lot of these abilities have come from them, and I think they are just fantastic. Oh man, it was wonderful to hear some of these, and I want to hear your thoughts. But with that, guys, I want to just jump right in. We do know that characters are getting reworks. We know that Boba Fett's getting one. We know that Dengar's getting a leadership ability. We know that Greedo and IG-88 are also getting them. It does say that we are going to be getting, Bosk. We know that. Bosk is going to be a taunting tank, which I'm really excited about. It's about time the Bounty Hunters got something like that. Very, very stoked. But what I'm curious about, though, is what additional benefits, what additional talents will they have? Now Boba Fett, we gotta start off with the Fett, man, because Boba Fett is a really solid character and has already received a couple of reworks. He was one of the first to get a new Zeta, and his Zeta's a pretty solid one as it is. We do know that he's going to eventually be getting a contract. Now we don't know what this new game mechanic will actually look like, but we do believe, or it is speculated highly, that each mechanic or each contract will be specific to that character. I think Boba Fett's contract will be something like Execute. I think it will have some kind of benefit for an execution. Now, I will say I'm not entirely sure, because I could also see his contract going under a unique ability. I could see him maybe getting like a bonus, speed bonus every time an execute goes off. But the thing that I think Boba Fett is missing, what Boba Fett really needs, is one thing: flamethrowers. I think we need to see, I think we're going to see an additional ability, Boba Fett having 4 different usable abilities where he has a flamethrower, and the flamethrower will act just like R2-D2's Immolate. It's going to inflict burning for 3 or 2 turns or something like that, and I honestly think that would be so cool. Another AoE effect that just increases the opportunity to just do tons of damage, and if it also did a turn meter reduction, I think that would be really, really cool. Now moving on to Greedo. Now Greedo's not one that I was really hopeful for. I have farmed Greedo. I've got him up to 7-star. I've got him up to level 85. I think he's sitting around gear level 7 or 8 or something like that. I don't have him super well built, but this is what I think Greedo needs to have. Greedo needs to have a unique ability that gives him a chance to attack first. I think that he needs to have a Han Solo-like ability. And so when Han Solo is not in the match, he has that same ability. He has that very same speed, right? But when Han Solo is in a match and you are going up against a Han Solo, any Han Solo, well, maybe we gotta say OG Han Solo. Other Han Solos don't make sense, right? A Greedo versus, Depends Han Solo, or old man Han. It doesn't make sense to have that ability. But when Greedo goes up against OG Han, right, there is a 50-50 chance that Greedo will shoot first instead of Han, right? And the reason I say this is simply to piss off Cubs fan Han. Just kidding. But the reason I say this is because of the rework, the special edition movies, where George Lucas is like, no, Han wouldn't have shot first. No, Han shot first. I gotta say it, he did. We all know Han shot first, right? It makes sense. That being said, it is canon that Greedo shot first. And since Greedo shot first, there needs to be an ability that allows him to do so. Now, another thing that I think would be really, really cool is if his unique ability would give him an additional 30% crit chance, and then he'd get a 100% chance to attack a second time on any crit. So kind of like the Han Solo ability. Anytime he attacks, he would be able to, as long as he critted, he would be able to attack again. I think that would be really, really cool. I also think that his thermal detonators need to do some turn meter reduction, or do additional turn meter reduction. I think a 50% chance to do 30% turn meter reduction would make Greedo a ridiculously awesome character to really use in a bounty hunter team. I think that would be really sweet. And while Greedo wasn't the most effective bounty hunter, and they've kind of made him out to be a pansy in some of the more recent lore, I think that definitely some real sway when it comes to this. Now, again, he's a very well-known character, but he's well-known for being shot in a bar. So I don't know. IG-88, I think IG-88 is one of my favorite characters. He was one of the first droids that I got up completely to gear level 10 at first, and then 11, then 12, I think. I don't have him at 12 yet, actually. I have him at gear 11. He is solid. IG-88 is hands down one of the best droids. He hits like a dump truck. He has that awesome AoE effect. He is just phenomenal. I think he's a great droid. And on the right team, I think he's very, very effective. But there are definitely things that I think that he could be given. I think it's possible because IG-88 was a lone bounty hunter. I mean, Boba Fett worked with the crew, Greedo worked with the crew. I mean, they were all other Greedos. But, you know, Dengar worked with Boba Fett and other characters, and Bosk even. So, but IG-88 was kind of a lone gunman. And I'm thinking he might get a bonus or some kind of increase when he is fighting light side characters and he's the only bounty hunter on your team. I think that would be kind of cool. I don't necessarily know if that'll be the case, but I think it would be sweet. Now, the other thing about IG-88 is he was essentially like a walking weapons cache. He had grenades, he had a flamethrower, he had stun darts, and a number of other things. Now, IG-88 really only has two abilities. I mean, two functioning, two attacking abilities. He has the mortal wounds and he has rapid fire. Both are great. Both are very solid. I'd also like to see maybe a utility thrown into him where maybe he gets a thermal detonator that does stun. Maybe he does get a stun dart that causes poison even, or a plague-like effect. I think that would be kind of neat. I'm not really holding my breath because of the way that they've designed him, but I think it could be possible. I would absolutely love to see him have a flamethrower, simply because I think more people need to have flamethrowers.
Flamethrowers, hooray! I'm burning things!
Definitely a cool thing. But if I had to choose, definitely I'd prefer Boba Fett to have one over IG-88. Boba Fett has 3 abilities already, 3 usable abilities already. IG-88 has 2. It's more likely in my mind that they would give him a second AoE. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Boba Fett definitely is more, makes sense for him to have it because it's more well known that Boba Fett had a flamethrower. Would be super cool, though, for IG-88 to have one, too. I am really curious about Dengar. Now, Dengar's one of those sleeper characters. He is very solid if geared up all the way. I think Dengar's abilities are actually okay. The rework that I would like to see with Dengar is actually an increase in his rates. And I don't think that'll happen necessarily. I think that we're actually going to see an increase in abilities. He'll probably have ability reworks and stuff, but I love the fact that he does damage over time. Critical hits reduce 50% turn meter. I'd love to see critical hits reduce, 50% turn meter guaranteed. That would be sweet. Now there's a chance, at least, that it's not. So I'd love to see, him getting buffs for every negative effect that he drops on a character, and more buffs. I'd also like to see him with different bounty hunters kind of under his wing. I'm really curious to know what his leadership ability is going to look like, because he is one that definitely an interesting character. I liked his story a little more in the old canon. I'm really curious about where they're going to take him in the new one. I think Dengar might be the person that brings together the Bounty Hunter Guild finally in the new canon, but I'm not 100%, and that's a video for another day. But with that though, I think that this rework is not only long overdue, but potentially going to be a lot of fun. I love the bounty hunters. I've been playing with them in the Sith Triumvirate raid. I've been trying to find a good team to use, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun to tweak them and to put them in different places. And my bounty hunters are not the greatest. I'm really curious to see what they look like completely reworked, what the Zetas will look like on these new characters, or on these characters, and I'm curious to see what Bosk will do for the Bounty Hunter faction. But what do you guys think? What abilities would you love to see with these new characters, or with these characters with this rework? Leave a comment in the section below, like, subscribe, share. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, my friends, stay nerdy.